May I invite the next chairpersons, Dr. Thomas, Dr. P.K. Thomas, Professor, Department of General Surgery, GMC Trivandrum, and Dr. Ramlal, Associate Professor, Department of General Surgery, GMC Calicut. The next talk to be delivered by Dr. Santhosh John Abraham, Senior Consultant and Head of Department of Surgery, Lutz Hospital, Cochin. May I hand over the proceedings to our esteemed chairpersons, Dr. Thomas and Dr. Ramlal, please.
Now, after the excellent nail-biting debate, we move on to another unusual topic of the God Friends, but relevant. We all know the famous quote, a surgeon either has a wife or a knife. But seeing all the excellent lady surgeons, I think the quote has to be modified soon. So, but anyways, the surgeons, I feel, is the most vulnerable group who sacrifice their personal life in pursuit of their surgical excellence. But to strike a mark between their personal and surgical life, we have a talk here. The most eligible person to deliver the talk, Dr. Santhosh John Abraham, excellent orator, excellent surgeon, excellent administrator, above all, an excellent, lovable family man. Sir, please share with us your secrets about the topic.
Thank you, Professor P.K. Thomas, for those wonderful words. Good morning to all of you, and bring in greetings from Cochin. I stepped into this podium of ASA Kerala chapter 40 years ago when I made my first presentation of a paper which is non-functioning adrenal tumors. I had a mentor, Professor P.A. Thomas. Another mentor was my head of the department, Professor O.S. Menon. I continued to use this podium many times, reading my papers, then lectures, and finally went on to deliver the highest oration, the Kavajari oration in this podium. But I left this podium in 2010, when I became the state chapter president. Since then, I have never used this podium to address the ASA Kerala chapter. So did I when I demitted my office in 2015 as the national president. Srijan and me are very good friends, and he knows how to pressurize me, and I had to succumb, agreeing to talk in this podium. Once I agreed, he did a mischief. He never talked to me. He called Dibin, and Dibin called me, and he said, you have to talk on work-life balance. I was surprised, and Dibin also said, Srijan told that he is only work, and let's see how the life gets balanced. So I took it as a challenge and looked as an opportunity to read about work-life balance and also look at myself whether I did balance my life and work. When I was a novice into the ASI, these were the leaders of ASI of Kerala chapter, and I must, for people who are sitting here, 1997, we formed the chapter, and in 2027, we will be celebrating the 50th year. I put most of them in chronological order, but some of them I have deliberately put it in the next slide, that those on the top, they became the secretaries of the honorary secretaries of the chapter in the chronological order, and later became the chairpersons. The last row, they were secretaries, but did not become the chairpersons for various reasons. I have deliberately omitted those people who are sitting here, like my good friend, Dr. Sri Kumar, etc., because MP Shashi sir, Gopi sir, etc., they are all contemporaries and everybody knows about them. When I looked at the literature, there are more than 3 million papers on work-life balance. And I did go through nearly about 50 of them in detail and scanned through about 200 of them to pick up some points to be discussed. It's a problem not only with surgeons, it's a problem with every profession. It's not new, it is not unique to surgeons. Many people say that it is difficult to achieve. That is because of the fact that one of the articles by Friedman read, to succeed in work, we must focus single-mindedly at the expense of everything else in your life. Too many people believe that to achieve great things, we must make brutal sacrifices at your life. The very description, whether you can balance it or not, it comes from a very binary thinking that these two are two different entities, and hence we need to make a deliberate attempt to match these things. Gentlemen and ladies, professional success is never as a result of a personal failure. When I looked at it, whether we could separate this work and life, ignoring life as a different entity, I realized that life is nothing but an intersection and interaction of 4 major domains. Work, of course, stands first, home comes next, community comes third, and you, as a human being, has got self. You need a space for yourself. Instead of trying, the whole failure comes in because you try to allocate equal times at all along your life, equally to all these different domains, and hence you think that there is a inequality in your in your life and in professional life. As you grow, depending on your age at which you are going to have, your time commitment towards life, family, community, and to yourself changes. When you become a surgeon in training, as Madhu has said, you join, or all of us have said, when you join in medical college as a postgraduate trainee, you are always taught about 3 important things to make a good surgeon: ability, affability, and availability. And in the bargain, you follow your mentor and you become a workaholic. A surgeon, unfortunately, cannot make a traditional approach to work because he is called to work at odd hours of the day, maybe at the middle of the night. And hence, viewed with a dichotomous lens, you think that these two cannot be balanced, but most of us balance it well. It's an individual's feeling to look at whether the life is balanced with your work. My younger days as a surgeon at Kolancheri, where I began on my own after about 6 years after my MS, I had many days when I had gone through 36 hours of continuous operating, because that was the foothill of the drainage from the eastern part of the state, and we had plenty of trauma. So you had finished a full day list, you continue operating the whole night with emergencies, and then I'm sure that most of us in the beginning of our career would have slept many days in the theater, and luckily my wife being an anesthetist, we were together, and unfortunately the boy who suffered was my son. Many times he has to be sleeping inside the theater when I'm on. The struggle was to make myself a surgeon. I realized that if I continue to do that, I will not be successful, so I had to build a team. Unlike in people who are working in private institutions, I realized this, and I had my first assistant. 2 months down the line, I became independent. Later on, people with MS joined me, but driving the mad operating work will make you break. So we had to take short breaks. We could not afford going many places. We took breaks for 1 day, 2 days in the neighboring locality, went ahead seeing some. Later on, we got bigger cars. Initial phases, we could not afford a good car. Work was more. We had concentrated on Western Ghats, wildlife, with family and friends. Just we have gone as family. We had touring time with Babu sir and Varma sir at many places in the state, taking time out for 1 day, 2 day, enjoying the Western Ghats and wildlife. And this moved on to taking the ASI Kerala chapter together, 100 of us, going to different parts of the world. Today, there is an annual pilgrimage for those who are sitting in the back of ASI Kerala chapter, going 100 people with family to different parts of the world. This is a photograph we have taken with the bust of Bill Roth in Vienna. We had to have sportive activities, games, and nights we need to chill out also. It's not just work. What is work for a surgeon? It could be an act of cutting, it could be an act of teaching, an analysis on your own, documenting research and publications, and act of public speaking in professional bodies. Some of the research articles, despite being in a private sector, we could combine with University of Cochin on fundamental research. A lot of articles have been done. We have made our clinical articles in various journals, and I must say that all these people are right now, except me, are in England with various specialties as consultants. They have worked with me post-MS for 2 to 3 years. So you could actually mentor a lot of them, and you could contribute to a lot of their development in their future. So I have been successful in mentoring a lot of people to take their position. Work-life balance could be a professional satisfaction, maybe in numbers, maybe in the range of operations, maybe in the challenges. Social recognition we must have at some point of time, should know who is who in the society, looking forward to you as their option for surgery. Financial stability on ethical generation is not at all a crime, and we are qualified. We toiled our time, so we also deserve to be equally compensated. There is no set formula for life-work balance. Instead, the surgeon should strive to personalize the strategies that work for himself and attending to all aspects of life. The tip for all of you is harmony. Home is your purpose of life. Assess your professional and personal life priorities. Rest, recharge, reflect, recreate, and that do regularly. Manage all aspects carefully. Optimize your priorities. Normalize by attending problems early and give time for yourself. You could do a painting like as Sijin does in Perindalman, excellent painter. You could have musicians like Babu sir and other people who can sing. We can have Bibin and people like who are going to play games, and I have no such talents. My talent would be going back to the roots. I'm an agriculturist, enjoying my work in fields with growing some bananas, growing some bees. You learn a lot from bees. I do grow some cattle. So all these things keep you occupied in your life. As we progress through our life, our personal and professional life, responsibility typically increases. In other areas, ineffective leadership also causes some problems to you. So you need to come out of it. So what does, if you don't have a balance? The negative influence is maybe on the physician, on the patient, or on the healthcare. You could go into emotional exhaustion, or you could go for a cynicism or a decline in your professional efficiency. And these are the different stages of a burnout. And you could interfere at any given point of time and come out of the burnout. Burnout is not related to age or specialty. It can happen anywhere. When I discussed this with my wife, she said, you should tell that but for her, I would not have been a good success in my life. I say yes. I love being a surgeon. This is what works for me. And Jimmy is here. This is Jimmy's clique. Thank you, Jimmy, for that great clique at Munnar when we all went together for a tour. You can't do a good job if your job is all what you do. It's not so much what we have in this life that matters. It's what we do with what we have. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stop here. To my younger colleagues, when you are in a struggle for ideal versus what is available, when ethics versus your temptation, evidence versus your experience, and as Murali has put, when wisdom is required for analysis, let work be your prayer, then life becomes a song and a celebration. As Julius Caesar, Shakespeare said, the evil that men do leaves after them, and often interred with their bones. I think this is the message which I have to give. A happy Ladies' Day, Mother's Day for today. Thank you, well, ladies and gentlemen, for a patient listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We were all enlightened, inspired by your speech. No wonder that it comes from a great teacher, great surgeon, and a big leader in front of us. The default setting of the universe is imbalanced, sir. So some forces have to work hard to make it balanced. So you said it, you showed us with your life as experiment and evidence. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
May I request you to kindly stay back, sir? Thank you. I'd like to invite